thought-provoking essay that asks a pretty bold question. Is our standard Monday to Friday work week actually holding us back? Let's get into it. So, let's start right here because this one question is really the heart of the whole argument. It makes you stop and think, right? It frames our 5-day week not as some law of nature, but as a hand-me-down from a totally different time. We're talking factory lines, steam power, the works. It really forces you to ask, almost 100 years later, does this model even make sense anymore? The essay points out that the 40-hour, 5-day work week didn't just appear out of nowhere. It was a huge innovation, actually, championed by people like Henry Ford to make factories run better. And for its time, it was a brilliant idea. But here's the thing. It was designed for manual labor, not for the kind of creative, knowledge-based work so many of us do today. Okay, so if the model is so outdated, why are we all still so attached to it? Well, it all comes down to this really deep-seated belief, a myth, really, about what productivity even is. I mean, we've all heard this one, right? The logic seems so simple. You work more hours, you get more done. It's the whole foundation of hustle culture, the reason we feel guilty for leaving the office on time. But the essay argues this is just fundamentally wrong. And here's the proof. This is where that whole myth just completely falls apart. The source material shows this clear pattern of diminishing returns. See, for the first 35 hours or so, we're sharp, we're focused, our output is high. But just look at what happens after that. By the time we push past 40 hours, our output literally drops off a cliff. We might be physically there, but we're not really producing anymore. An organizational psychologist cited in the essay just nails it with this quote: productivity isn't a measure of time, it's a measure of focused attention. The goal shouldn't be just to show up. It should be to get things done effectively. Our current system just encourages being present over getting actual results. All right, so maybe more hours don't equal more output. But the second big argument you always hear is about logistics. People say, sure, a 4-day week sounds nice, but it would never work for my company or my industry. Well, the essay takes this on directly. And here it is, myth number 2. This idea that a shorter work week is just some fun little perk for a handful of software companies in Silicon Valley, but that it's completely impractical for manufacturing, for retail, for the so-called real world. But the data tells a completely different story. And this is just wow. The essay points to these huge trials across all kinds of different industries, and the results are just stunning. 95%, let that sink in, 95% of companies that tried a 4-day week either maintained or actually increased their revenue. This isn't just a tech startup thing, it's a business efficiency thing. And this quote just drives the point home. This isn't some tech CEO. This is the leader of a manufacturing firm, a really traditional boots-on-the-ground industry. And what did they find? They didn't lose a day of work. They lost a day of fluff, of wasted time, pointless meetings, and burnout. They were forced to get more efficient, and it worked. So this brings us to what the essay is really proposing. And it's not as simple as just taking a day off. No, it's about a complete redesign of how we even think about work. The author boils it all down to this beautiful, simple formula, the 100-80-100 model. It's pretty straightforward. You get 100% of your pay, you work 80% of the time, so 4 days instead of 5, and in return, the deal is you deliver 100% of your productivity. It's a contract that's based on results, not on how long you can sit in a chair. And this isn't just some high-level theory. The essay actually lays out a practical path to get there. It starts with a pretty ruthless audit of your time, like what meetings are actually useless, what tasks can be automated. Then you restructure your day to create blocks of time for deep, uninterrupted work. And finally, you shift the whole culture to value what gets done, not who stays the latest. But the argument in the essay doesn't just stop with company profits and productivity charts. It asks a much, much bigger question. What does a change like this really mean for us as people and for our whole society? Just look at this ripple effect. The evidence suggests employees are way less stressed and burned out. With an extra day off, people actually spend more money at local businesses. They have more time for their families, for volunteering, for their communities. There's even an environmental upside, one less day of commuting for millions of people. When you really think about it, it's not just a day off. It's this. 52. 52 extra free days every single year. That's almost a month and a half of your life every year, just handed back to you. When you see it as a number like that, the scale of this idea, it really hits you. So we'll leave you with the same question the essay leaves its readers. Just for a second, forget about work. If you had an extra 52 days a year, what would you do with that time? What passion would you finally have time for? What new skill would you learn? What would you change in your own life or in the world around you? Because